Is blogging hard? Well, the question shouldn't be, is blogging hard? The question should be, is it hard to be successful with a blog? And the answer is yes, but you shouldn't let that stop you. I want to explain what is difficult about blogging, how you can make that simpler, and why you should do it anyways.
And now it's time for some more DIY SEO tips with Jennifer Regina.
The beauty of blogging is that anyone can do it. But a lot of people stop doing it before they ever see success. And I would really love to provide you some data here on what percentage of bloggers don't continue. But the data is all over the place. Depending on what group of bloggers they surveyed, the numbers just vary drastically. So instead of giving you numbers that are probably inaccurate, I will instead say that a large group of people start a blog and a large group of people do not continue it. But I am going to take a guess that a big amount of the people that did not continue, they didn't think that blogging would be hard. If you start your blog knowing that it is hard, you are already in a better place than most of those people. You will start with knowing that it will be difficult, but possible, and you will succeed as long as you stick with it. Now, let's go over why building a blog is hard and how you can make it a little bit easier. First is learning new technology. If you've never had a blog before or a website, there is a learning curve as you get started. And technology learning curves, they excite some people and terrify others. No matter which side you fall on, you don't need to stress about the technology of starting with a blog. There are countless guides online, and there are lots of resources that you can use to just walk through the process. If you're looking for a place to get started, we do have a guide that you can use to get started with your blog. I will add a link to that in the video description, or if you're listening to the podcast, it will be in the show notes. When you start a blog, you'll overcome a ton of technological hurdles like choosing a domain name and setting up a website and creating a content calendar. But soon you'll learn that none of those is actually the hard part of blogging. Now let's talk about consistency and perseverance. The hard part about blogging is you need to be consistent to see success. So if you're familiar with my channel, you've probably heard me say this before, but I'm going to say it again just because it is important. You need to be consistent, but not frequent. So choose a consistency that makes sense for your business. You need to post consistently, but it doesn't have to be all the time. You don't have to post every day or even every week. Choose a posting frequency that makes sense for you. So that could be monthly, it could be every other week. You need to choose a posting frequency that you can stick to so that you can be consistent for a long time. In the beginning, it's going to feel like you're talking to yourself. It can be really hard when you're doing all this work and it feels like nobody is reading it, nobody is watching, there's nobody there. But you have to get past that. Keep going, because it's common for it to take 6 to 12 months to start reaching an audience. So you have to be consistent, be committed to just talk to yourself for the first 6 months or so and get past that. Keep going and you will start to see success. The next is creating high quality content. So another hard part about blogging is it isn't just about being consistent. Yes, you have to be consistent, but you also have to consistently create high quality content. Not just anything. You can't just have some AI generated content, throw it up there and call it good. You have to actually create high quality content. And the best way to do this is to be really clear about who you're speaking to. So make sure you understand the marketing persona. Make sure you have an idea of the exact person that you are trying to reach, and then create your content to help that person. And if you need help creating a marketing persona, I'll add a link to a template that you can use to go through that in the video description or the podcast show notes. Next is understanding SEO. It can be hard to understand how to use the search engines to grow your website. SEO can play a key role on if your blog is successful or not. To make this a little bit easier, you can use tools like the on-page optimization checklist, which I will add in the video description. There is a whole slew of information out there that can help you learn SEO if this is something that you're struggling with. Another way that you can learn SEO is you can leverage digital marketing coaching, and we actually offer that through ClearPath Online. So if you'd like me to help coach you on SEO, that is an option. And the nice thing about the ClearPath Online digital marketing coaching is you not only have me to help you monthly on a coaching session, but we also have a personalized interactive digital marketing planner. And so what that is an online tool that you can use. So even when you don't have a coaching session, you still have an interface that you could log into and see exactly what you should be doing today to optimize your blog. So it really helps walk you through the SEO process. You have the digital marketing planner to walk you through on the days that you don't have a coaching session. And then you have that coaching session to help ask questions and really lay out the plan. Next is knowing where to promote. So creating content isn't the only hard part. The other hard part is knowing where to promote the content, how you can expand your reach, especially if you don't want to use social media channels. And if this does sound like you, we actually have a guide that we just created on how you can expand your reach without social media channels. So I will add a link to that in the video description and the podcast show notes as well. Next is a monetization plan. Now, when you're growing your blog, you really don't want to focus on a monetization plan. You first want to focus on growing an audience, getting traffic to your website. Build up a community before you start worrying about how you're going to monetize it. And the benefit to this is once you have a community, you will have a much better idea of how you should monetize this community. You will have a good idea of what they need and how you can actually help them. Once you have an established community, you do want to have a monetization plan so you start making some money with your blog. And some common ways to do that are to have digital downloads or online courses or a book or affiliate marketing. And another hard part about blogging is the digital marketing changes. So on top of all of this, digital marketing changes. The best practices today won't necessarily be the best practices tomorrow. One way that you could stay on top of this is we actually have 1-minute marketing updates. So you can follow those on YouTube or on Instagram. And when there are changes in the industry or SEO updates that you should know about, we have just a quick little 1-minute update to get you familiar with those new changes. And then another way to stay on top of marketing changes is to leverage something like ClearPath Online, where you have some digital marketing coaching and you have a tool that helps outline the current best practices. All right, so is blogging worth it? Is it worth it to have a blog if it's going to be this hard to see success with it? Yes, the answer is absolutely yes. So you have to be consistent to see success. But the more consistent you are, the easier this will get. The process is only going to get easier. As you continue to stick with it, it will get simpler and simpler, and it will end up taking you less time. So stick with it because most people won't. You can be the exception. And once you start seeing success, it will be exponential because all of your previous efforts will be combined with you becoming a better blogger. And this is when it starts to get really fun. So stick with the hard part of blogging so that you can start seeing success with it and get to the fun part. I hope this helped. And if it did, please subscribe. Thanks and happy marketing.
Thanks for listening. And if you enjoyed this, please subscribe. This episode was brought to you by ClearPath Online, a DIY SEO tool for your website.